We've been witnessing something very amazing. Stable coins are subtly but significantly displacing traditional finance. To be honest, it's only getting faster. The stablecoin market has expanded by over 5% in the last month alone, which may seem insignificant until you consider that the market in question is valued at over $250 billion. Furthermore, the amount of monthly transfers just surpassed $3 trillion. The sheer quantity of users is astounding as well. More than 37 million active addresses are under consideration, and holders of over 174 million. People can no longer ignore this market since it has grown so large. However, I did observe something intriguing. In actuality, the market capitalization displayed on RWA.XYZ is significantly different from the market capitalization of coins. The exact current figure is $272 billion, which is a substantial amount. However, RLUSD is the thing I've been paying close attention to. The market capitalization has been increasing significantly, and at this moment, it is close to $578 million. In fact, RLUSD is shown here as well. I'll quickly pull that up for you. When you look at the stats, it's quite remarkable. In the past month alone, the market capitalization has increased by around 31%. The monthly transfer volume has increased by over 18% to over $3.2 billion, and holders are up about 5%. That is a significant amount of growth. Right now, I'm mainly concentrating on RLUSD. Here's why. With their stablecoin campaign, Ripple has been going all out. Why wouldn't they really? One of the largest stablecoin bills ever passed was just passed, and it will significantly increase market capitalization and transfer volumes. Consider it. It was only a few weeks ago that this bill passed. Stablecoins will become extremely popular in 6 months or perhaps a year. This is where things start to become really fascinating, though. JP Morgan just gave us some very important news. Here, we are discussing the largest bank in the world. They essentially stated that there will be far greater tokenization of physical assets and that crypto stablecoins will be integrated directly into the conventional financial system. In essence, they are confirming what is going to occur. We are witnessing a massive influx of capital into stablecoins. In light of that, we must consider the networks that stablecoins are actually operating on when we return to the topic. The thing is this: when trillions of dollars are being transferred on a daily, weekly, or even monthly basis, many of these networks and exchanges simply cannot manage the volume. Simply put, they aren't made to scale that large. However, there are networks that are capable of managing it. I am referring to Stellar, Hedera, and XRP. These are the ones that people ought to be focusing on at the moment. Here's why this is so important. There is a great demand for these public networks as stablecoins become more and more integrated into the American financial system, and as we witness enormous volumes of money moving through them. There will be a greater demand for the network's gas tokens, whether it's XRP, HBAR, XLM, or something else entirely. And you know what happens to the value of those tokens when demand for them soars? Depending on how much volume really moves through the XRP ledger during the stablecoin bubble, we might easily see XRP surge 2, 3, or even 4 times. In relation to that, Brad Garlinghouse already brought up a point in his interview with eToro. This Riz XRP video illustrates how the Genius Act essentially unleashes the floodgates. This is something you must hear. Let's discuss the stablecoin once more, Brad. Well done on everything. Will you include that into your own products? How will it stack up against XRP? Without a doubt, we will use our own products. Here is a brief history of this. Depending on the currency pairings we're working with and which customers we're supporting, Ripple has been using stablecoins for years, including US dollar stablecoins in specific corridors. To be honest, it has occasionally been more effective. As a result, we have utilized USDC and Tether in specific situations. Actually, we were once in charge of minting 20% of all USDC. And as the market grows, we kind of understood that there is a potential, especially for our customer base, around, pardon me, institutions. We thought it was a chance to get involved. Look, I believe that the market will continue to develop significantly when you consider the future of stable coins. I believe we made the decision to introduce a stable coin. Today's market was most likely worth around $120 billion. It's little under $200 billion in my opinion. Additionally, some astute analysts predict that in another 5 years, it will reach a couple trillion. Therefore, I am confident that the market will continue to expand. Although the US dollar is now the most significant stablecoin, I believe there will be some activity in the euro and possibly the yen. We'll have to see how far that goes. However, our objective is to ensure that the XRP ledger is the most reliable, efficient, and useful, and that there is a stable coin on the XRPL that is reliable, efficient, and respectable. Since Ripple has been collaborating with institutions for so long, I believe our brand is quite reputable. Additionally, we have a sizable balance sheet that, if necessary, we believe might contribute to the success of the RLUSD or Ripple USD. That's right. This is essentially giving projects like XRP and Ripple a free pass when it comes to compliance and laws. To be clear, XRP is not Ripple and Ripple is not XRP. However, Ripple is well positioned for this impending huge wave because they have centered their whole business on the XRP ledger and XRP itself. This is what makes them unique. Reputable businesses like XRP and Ripple will be at the forefront because they have years of experience battling institutional players and authorities. XRP is known as the banker's coin for just this reason. And to be honest, that used to be disparaging, but it's looking very clever now. Please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit the alerts. Thank you for viewing, and I hope to see you at the next one. Be careful.